We're going to get started with our post-race media availabilities here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway for today's ISM Connect 300. We are joined by our second place finisher, Kyle Larson, driver of the number 42 Target Chevrolet, and our third place finisher, Matt Kenseth, driver of the number 20 SiriusXM Toyota. Gentlemen, why don't you each take us through your race out there?
Yeah, my race was, so lap one, I went backwards in a hurry. Yeah, I think I was on the splitter to start there early, but we got that better. And yeah, I kind of ran around third to fifth all race long. I felt like I wasn't great on short runs, but I was really good on long runs, which was kind of opposite of practice. So I don't know, I was kind of happy about that. But got a good restart there at the end, got to second, and you know, kept my pace up with Kyle a little bit there, but he could just get pointed a little bit better than me and get the throttle down, where I would spin my tires a little bit. So too loose there in the short run, but if we could have a long run, maybe, who knows. But he was fast, 78 was fast. Matt was really good, so, and I thought we were probably fourth best or so. So good day, really good points day, stage points and a good finish. So should be fairly locked into the next round, which is positive.
And Matt?
Yo, oh, me too? Just whatever he said. No, I'm just kidding. We were decent long run, just really struggled getting through the gears and getting through 1 and 2. And that really hurt us at the end, obviously, with all those short runs and all those restarts at the end. So I thought we had, third place car most of the day. I thought the 78 and 18 were better. If I had the track position, I felt like I could do okay with them on a long run, but short run they'd get away from me pretty far, and just it's hard to make that distance back up.
All right, we'll open up to questions for these two. Please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you.
Terrell Covered from the Portsmouth Herald. Kyle, you're piecing together these good runs and points runs, but as you hopefully are through to, most likely through to the next round barring catastrophe, how important do you feel like it's going to be to get a win as you get closer to the end here?
Well, I think if I can keep up these top 5 runs and good stage finishes, you could probably point your way to Homestead, but I would prefer to get a win in each of these rounds. But if we can keep the good runs going, we should be all right. Obviously, I think as you get into the later rounds, wins are even more important than they are now. We had good regular season points. Gave ourselves some good playoff points. So this first round I knew would be fairly easy, but I think as we get into the next round and then the third round, a win would be great.
Any additional questions for Kyle or Matt? All right, gentlemen, thanks for joining us. Good luck next week in Dover.
If I could have your attention here in the Media Center, we'll continue on with today's post-race media availability for the 21st Annual ISM Connect 300. And we're joined by our race-winning crew chief, Adam Stevens, and our race-winning owner, Joe Gibbs, of the number 18 M&M's Caramel Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. Adam, we'll start with you. 18 car fast on Friday and then Victory Lane on Sunday. It has to give you a good feeling walking away from that.
Yeah, it just shows what our team's capable of and the type of job everybody back at the shop's doing. Coming to the racetrack prepared and executing all weekend and having great pit stops and having something to show for it for a change. So we're pretty proud of the effort.
And Coach, there seems to be a lot of positive energy right now around the 18 team, Joe Gibbs Racing and all of Toyota. So explain what is behind that right now.
Well, I think Adam mentioned it. We got so many great partners back at the race shop. Everybody working on the car. We had a big meeting this week. We talked about everybody that touches the cars, all the hard work. I wished all those guys could be here. They can't. And so I just want to shout out to JD and the whole crew back there, our front office and everybody. It takes a lot to travel, get here, get everything prepared, the cars, race the car. It's really hard. It takes a real effort. And we're just blessed to have a lot of great people there. And so I'm just thankful to be a part of it. And I thought today was, really appreciate the crowd here. I've mentioned that our sponsors, a number of them have hospitalities here. It's a huge deal for them. We're in the Northeast, and so it's a big deal for us. And so we appreciate all of our fans and everybody that supports it. all of our partners, obviously M&M's today, Caramel's a big part of their new kickoff, Toyota, our partner there. And so it takes a lot to do this. And so I really appreciate all of them and the way they support us.
Okay. We'll open the floor for questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless microphone to you. We'll start here with Pat.
For Adam, Pat Nicole and NASCAR.com, you mentioned great pit stops today. Just explain how that transition is going and how crucial that's going to be towards your run.
Well, pit stops are a key to the sport. They have been for as long as I've been involved, and they'll continue to be, I assume. But, you know, we had a couple hiccups last week. And then, like I said, pre-race, you know, loose wheels happen. They happen to everybody. And then we made a mistake serving our penalty or our changing tires to fix the loose wheel. And I put as much of that on myself for not covering all my bases communicating with a new group of guys. I could have done a better job, and it bit us. So moving forward from that, you know, they're trained professionals. They're the best in the world at what they do. And we made that decision based off of months and months of data and lots of meetings and lots of heartache, and we're not going to unmake it based off of 1 week's data. And I think showed today that was a good call, and I think the guys did a great job and rose to the occasion, and I expect nothing less of them the rest of the year.
We'll go next to Matthew, then to John, and then up to the press box.
Matthew Warnes with Race Pro Weekly. Coach Gibbs, can you just talk about, I know the presence here with the sponsors in the Northeast that you have, but honestly, losing a race after all the success you guys have had here must be disappointing, even though you're going to a bigger market next September.
Yeah, losing the race here. We, I tell you, we've always enjoyed coming here. It's a huge, for us, coming to this part of America, it's a big deal. It always has been. Yeah, we'd love to have races here. We'd love to have 2 races here. But we also know with our sport, there's a lot going on. A lot of decisions have to be made and what's best for the sport. So I'm really not a part of that. But I can say that we love coming to Loudon. It's been a great racetrack for us and a number of our drivers. So, yeah, you hate that. But I was thrilled today with the crowd and the way everybody seemed to enjoy themselves.
John?
John Haverland, ESPN Albuquerque. Coach Gibbs, some of the NASCAR owners expressed their opinion about players in the NFL not standing for the national anthem. I just wanted to get your opinion on that sort of thing.
Well, I think for us, obviously I can't speak for everybody on our race team, but for us, so much has been sacrificed for our country and that flag. And I think we really feel that heart to heart. And most of the people that I kind of feel like that are with us. And so I think for us, it's just a big deal for us and to honor America. And so that's the way we look at it. And I think I'm proud of the way we've represented ourselves. And I'm proud of this sport, too. I think this sport has a certain way they look at things. I really appreciate that.
We'll go upstairs to the press box.
Lee Spencer, Motorsport.com. For Adam, after the race, you told Kyle to take it easy on the burnout, that you didn't want to have any uncomfortable meetings later this week with NASCAR. Is NASCAR starting to crack down on the burnouts and, you know, what happens as far as destroying the cars so they can't be inspected properly in the post-race?
Well, if you go back and listen, I didn't mention NASCAR at all. But, you know, just given the media attention that some of the drivers brought to the 78 last week, and I mean, it's obvious that he wasn't trying to do anything other than celebrate. And if we can avoid that, I would just avoid it. You know, we have nothing to hide. They're more than welcome to look at our car like they always do. And it's just a distraction that we don't need. So I was just trying to avoid that distraction.
Any additional questions from upstairs? Any additional questions down here? Well, gentlemen, congratulations on the victory. Congratulations on making it to the next round of the playoffs, and good luck next week.
Hey, thank y'all. We appreciate it.
Have your attention now in the media center and the press box. We are now joined by the winner of today's 21st annual ISM Connect 300 here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And that is none other than Kyle Busch, driver of the number 18 M&M's Caramel Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. This was his 41st career victory in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series, his third win of 2017, and his third victory here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Kyle, they say that, you know, advancing in the playoffs sometimes the game of inches. You avoided some early trouble in the incident and were able to get around and find your way to victory lane. How harrowing was that for you, and how close of a call was that for you?
It was a close call. You know, that was certainly a defining moment of the race, I think, with the 78 getting torn up a little bit and us being able to squeak through unscathed. So, you know, thankfully, you know, when I saw the wall of smoke coming off of turn 2, I was far enough back that I just checked up real hard. I had Tony in my ear telling me to slow down or stop. And, you know, the cloud of smoke was so large that you literally couldn't see anything. And I think a couple of those guys in front of us just plowed right on in. You know, I saw the 33 get into it, and then the other one in front of me, I think, was a 47 car, and he was able to squeak through there between the wall and the 4, and I just followed him, hoping that the 4 was done crashing and not inching forward anymore. So thankfully that was the case, and helped save our race.
Okay, we'll open the floor for questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll go to Jerry and then to Jeff.
Jerry Jordan, kicking the tires.net and PRN. You, Martin, Brad, and Larson are all locked in to the second round of the playoffs now. How do you go into Dover? What strategy do you use? Do you take chances just to get stage points or wins? What is your next feat next week to?
I think the biggest thing for us is to just keep focusing on what we've done all year long. Just keep trying to go out there, run hard, run smooth, and be good at what we do. Obviously, fast race cars helps us being able to stay out front. We've got a good pit crew. They did a great job today. Did everything right. And, you know, from there, we're just trying to collect stage points. Go out there and race as hard as we can, you know, get stage wins, get race wins, and do what we can in order to keep padding that cushion that we have for the start of every round.
We'll go to Jeff and then to Matthew.
Jeff Gluck from jeffgluck.com. Kyle, you've lost so many races when you were the fastest car. Do you feel like you got one back today when it feels like maybe Truex was faster for much of the race?
Yeah, he was a little bit faster than us for sure the first segment of the race. The second segment, I thought we were kind of catching him a little bit. I think it kind of gone either way. Whoever was out front might have led because I caught him in traffic, and then he got away from me through a little bit of traffic. I caught him back, you know, so it's just kind of dependent on how traffic went. So I thought that we were getting more equal to him, which is good. You know, we're keeping up with him, so I thought that was a positive. But, yeah, I mean, anytime that you see somebody else have trouble, you never can count on those opportunities. You just have to take advantage of them when they're there. And we did that today, being able to get a win. I felt like we were good enough to win ourselves, but we'll take them as we can get them right now.
So given that, you know, he's been your chief concern as far as this playoff, the fact that you were able to seemingly make gains on him and stick with him, do you feel pretty optimistic about that going forward?
Yeah, I thought today was a good catch-up moment for us, if you will. Obviously, they've been so fast all year long. Their strength is really the mile-and-a-half tracks, the bigger speed tracks than here, but they've been really fast here the last few times. I feel like we've been close to being able to outrace them here a couple times, but it was going to come down to that again, you know, and who was going to be in the lead, who was going to have the opportunity on restarts and whatnot to control the field. But, you know, we'll see what happens next week at Dover. I anticipate him being really fast there. Probably maybe a little faster than us. He's just had a better handle on that place than us. But obviously with Texas and Charlotte and Kansas and Homestead being all mile-and-a-half tracks, you know, those are ones that we got to zero in on and be able to make sure we have the most speed possible.
We'll go next to Matthew, then upstairs to the press box.
Matthew Warners with Race Pro Weekly. Kyle, today was a little bit warmer. Did you guys kind of use the same setup from July since it was warmer temperatures today, especially with the new surface on the track?
I couldn't tell you. I have no clue. I don't pay attention to setup stuff. So I just try to give really good feedback and where the setups go. They change a lot in 6 months, you know, so I'm sure something was different about it today than what we were then. You know, with the way our cars have been, we probably don't change a whole lot, but you got to keep up with changing tire conditions, changing track conditions and such.
Okay, we're going to go upstairs to the press box for 2 questions and then come down here to Terrell.
LeeSpencerMotorsport.com. Is it almost intimidating that Truex can have a bad day the way he did and come back and finish fifth?
Yeah, I mean, that was a good recovery for those guys. Obviously, they took 2 tires there. I wasn't sure how that was going to work out for them, but, you know, it was 2 tires on 30-lap tires, 37-lap tires, and he was beating them up pretty well. So I expected him to, you know, fade a little bit, probably more so than fifth, but that was a respectable day for sure for the issues they had.
Additional questions from the press box?
Nick Stoico with the Concord Monitor. Kyle, between trucks, Xfinity, and Cup, you've won a dozen races here. Just what are your thoughts on the track here in New Hampshire and obviously losing it starting next year and moving to Las Vegas with that playoff race?
Yeah, I thought, you know, this place is always exciting. It always lends to exciting moments, that's for sure. We had one today. Sometimes the racing, though, is a little strung out with this place being so hard to pass. It's just not lending itself to being able to be right on top of or right close to the guy in front of you, because you just get so tight when you're behind that guy, and you build air pressure in the front tires and you slow down and that guy drives away from you, you know, and then you kind of accordion back to the next guy. He's catching you thinking he's going to pass you, and then he gets tight, and then it kind of goes back to the next guy. So it's kind of frustrating to race here sometimes, but you got to give it to the track for putting on some great moments with other races here, like the ACT cars, the modifieds, the K&N cars, the trucks, the Xfinity cars. They flood this place full of opportunity to see some good racing. So you know, I'm partial to the Vegas thing because I'm from there. That's my hometown. Gives us 2 opportunities for 2 triple headers out there. September, though, I don't know what's hotter today or what it's going to be in Vegas next year. So either way, it's looking to be hot.
Okay, we'll go next to Jerry.
Jerry Jordan, KickTires.net, PRN again. Last time we know Denny's afraid of lobster. You said that Sam wasn't a big fan of the lobster. How'd she handle the lobster this time?
She was much more welcoming to the lobster this time. She received it a lot better, and maybe that was just bravery from Brexton and having. Well, he was here last time too. He didn't know what the heck that thing was probably either time, but he gave it a little poke, and he wanted to poke it in its eye, and I was like, whoa, hold on a second, back it down, and you know, pet him on the back, you know. So we gave him the shell. He touched it, so I think he thought that was cool.
Next to Matthew, and then to Phil.
Matthew Werner with Race Pro Weekly. Kyle, were you a little bit surprised there that there wasn't a caution before the end of the stage, that we went 75 laps without a caution?
A little bit, yeah, but somewhat no. Like I said, this place can sometimes get strung out a little bit that you know, you can't necessarily count on cautions. And fortunately, we were good enough today that we were right there on Martin. We were probably a couple lengths behind him, but you know, it was not too pressing for us, and we weren't in panic mode at all. So it was, you know, fine that we were going to go to the stage mark.
Go to Phil.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Phil Allenwood from Front Stretch. Got a couple of questions for you, Kyle. First off, you were mentioning about how we have a jam-packed weekend here. We have 4 different series. Would you like to see additional series added on to race weekends at other venues in an attempt to give fans a bit more of a bang for their buck? Say maybe a preliminary race the day of the Cup race as opposed to nothing and a bunch of concerts.
Yeah, I mean, I think when race fans go to the racetrack, they want to see racing. So I think Loudon does that with a bunch of on-track activity, a bunch of races here and things. And so I think they do a good job of that. I think you can mix it in. You know, some racetracks are different than others. Some racetracks have different reasons to have concerts or other things other than more cars on the racetrack. You go to Talladega, you can't put more cars on the racetrack. You know, there's not enough skilled drivers that are going to be able to run around a 2.5-mile racetrack and see tomorrow. So. You know, for everything else though, like 1.5-mile racetracks, you've got Legends cars and other things, but a lot of people don't necessarily show up for those. So it's hard to tell, and I'm sure other tracks have tried that before. I think that's why the infield ovals are at Vegas and Charlotte and Texas and everything else for the Legends cars, and you know, you just don't see the eyeballs in the stands.
All right, and with the track bite solution, Grant Enfinger mentioned yesterday that it didn't really seem to wear off during the truck race. How long did that solution seem to last out there for you today?
Well, it stays the entire time, but in my mind, it definitely wears off. I felt like it was a lot wore off in the first run of the race. You know, and anytime you put on new tires, it feels like that solution is is useful for probably 15, 20 laps, and then after that it kind of equals out to other grooves, even though everybody still runs that main groove because we're just used to running there, and it has that little bit more grip than the main groove that used to be here, that middle lane. So that's why you just kind of stay in it, you stay running in it. I think that the PJ1 offers itself an opportunity on restarts to be too wide and not be crashing into one another, although that's probably what some fans want to see. So you know, pick your poison on what you want to do or what you want to see, and I think the racetracks will work with that.
Kyle, congratulations on today's win. Good luck
All right.
next week.
Thank you. You got it.